I'm here with Ajay Kapoor from General Motors. We're going to be talking a little bit about media. We're going to be talking about trends. We're going to be talking about some fun topics. Welcome, Ajay.
David, thanks for having me. Super excited to be a part of the Brand Innovators community.
I love it. We are super excited to have you as part of the community, so that's a two-way street.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive right in. We're going to get to some specifics, but you're building out an amazing team. And I would love to know what your overall philosophy or strategy is when you think about, broad strokes media investment. Do you have like a guiding set of principles or philosophies that drive your efforts?
Yeah, we codified that at General Motors. It's really critical as we think about our North Star around our media investment, how we communicate to our stakeholders, our board, our investors, how do we drive stewardship of those investments? And there's three big pillars and tenets that we focus on. Win on experiences, so be where the customer and the consumers are living, playing, and experiencing. Be audience obsessed. Make sure you know who your audiences are. Find them with the right messaging, right messages, all those things that we need to go do. And then be in culture, right? We as an automaker need to be ingrained in the cultural movements. And so many of those things put us in really interesting spaces where we're trying to be cutting edge. We may not have the full measurement funnel against it, but we know we need to be there. If that's movies, endorsements, integrations, et cetera, alongside our tentpole, long pole investment strategy that we have around us.
I love it. So obviously executing on that strategy, a lot of it comes down to the people. Right, and that's something we talk a lot about with our community is talent and finding the right people to be those executors within the marketing organization, within the media organization. And we talk about talent, we talk about recruitment, retention, but there's also new skill sets and new disciplines, new technologies, new tools that pop up every day that you have to account for. So what is your approach to making sure you have the best people?
Tough question, right? You got to find athletes that are curious from my perspective. And that's really what I'm looking for. So some of these individuals may come with SME, subject matter expertise right off the bench onto the team. In other cases, it's about training, development. The last thing is got to live and breathe in the communities where these folks live. So Brand Innovators is a case example, critical as we think about great talent, places to be proximate, to find hungry individuals that are looking to be curious, to learn new things and do things. And so those are core tenets as we think about how do we attract great talent? How do we retain great talent? How do we promote them, grow them, allow them to do great things in their career and at General Motors?
I think that's kind of one of the key things, especially when you're talking about newer, younger, early stage careers. You want to have that opportunity to grow, right, and to be cultivated, right? So that's the fact that that's important to you guys is I think something that'll make you an attractive player. So that's awesome. So let's dive into maybe some more specific trends within the media sphere. So one is in-housing. And this is not specific necessarily to media. It's also applicable to the creative side, but certainly a hot topic over the last couple of years. Where do you sit in terms of the development of what was or may be considered traditionally agency-like capabilities? Do you bring them in-house? Have you brought some in-house? Where are you on that journey? Is it not interesting to you? What's your perspective?
Yeah, I feel like we've been talking in-housing, not in-housing for a decade now, right? And there's a cost factor. There's also an output factor, right? Like how strong is the work? So my philosophy, and this is just Ajay's philosophy, is I'm a firm believer in hybrid. You need folks on the brand side that can be proximate, that could go two in a box, that can work side by side with the creators, with the agencies, with the media developers and the planners, and push that work. We need to be able to create that work effectively and actively. The folks that could be executing could be on our side, could be at our agency side, just really want best work to win. So I'm a firm proponent on, getting down to first principles, making the right choices, and building out a hybrid infrastructure. Agencies bring a lot of unique thinking and talent that we need to continue to cultivate. On our side, we need to continue to drive our creativity, be able to work side by side, co-create, and drive impact on our business.
The next topic, look, this is another one of those topics that maybe not for 10 years, but certainly the last few years, we've been talking about cookie deprecation. And, Google ever kill the cookie? Is it like the New Jersey Real ID that they just keep pushing off every year, right, as it gets to the deadline? But there are a lot of implications. And, some of the folks that we talk to, we've beaten this horse, to death, so to speak. But to a lot of others, there's still many unanswered questions and ramifications around data and identity, around privacy. Where are you on that journey, and what are your thoughts around the future of that world of data, of identity, of privacy?
Yeah, so at GM, we've codified within my team and for broader marketing our trust principles. So at the core of the cookie conversation is about consent and privacy, right? Did you consent to that data to be used in a particular way? And we believe this isn't a compliance question, right? This isn't a legal, I met my regulatory level. It is about building customer trust. And so we are focused fundamentally on building zero-party data, demonstrating that trust needs to be built before the transaction, continuing to build out these CX principles, these customer experience principles that allow for the customer to have choice, control, and impact. And so, look, cookie goes away, there's a replacement for a cookie. Are there legal elements? I think the challenge that has come back to the marketing industry and community is the right one. How do we continue to level up our game, both on the measurement side, in a privacy safe and privacy compliant world? And that's the challenge that we need to be striving for, regardless of the choices that have to happen from a executional technology standpoint, cookie, non-cookie, PMP network, the clean rooms. There's many different options, but candidly, I like the question when you step further back, what's behind that cookie deprecation, cookie cliff, is putting privacy and putting trust and putting the consumer at the forefront.
Absolutely. I mean, and especially when you think about younger consumers and what trust and privacy means to them, it's going to become that much more important. So I love it. We'll keep it rolling. Our last sort of deep dive into the media sphere, as it were, CTV, OTT, rather, the streaming services and the war, this incredible fragmentation that we're seeing in a million walled gardens now with a million streaming services. But now those doors have started to open. Netflix, Disney Plus opening ad tiers, ad-supported tiers. Hulu's obviously done it for a while. And a lot of the marketers in our community are excited about potential opportunities. What doors does that open for you, if any?
Yeah, look, I think inventory shifting. We're been on this journey of, linear TV, moving into more connected TV or digital footprint. And look, it allows us to be audience obsessed, going back to the core tenets of how we think about our modern marketing machine at General Motors. It allows us to get ingrained into culture in the right places, the right communication strategy, and allows us to win on experiences. So we're really excited about new inventory in the CTV, ATV, digital connected TV space opening up. Look, TV is really critical in the automotive industry. You need to drive long tail education and saturation of mind share in the categories that we play in. And so, look, the more we're able to play in the right places, if that's on Netflix or Disney or elsewhere, we're really excited, and we're going to continue to work with the industry to open up that inventory, drive a privacy safe way to have those connected experiences with our video content come to life for our customers.
Fantastic. All right, now we're going to segue into the lightning round. So I got 4 questions for you. We're going to talk about a challenge. We're going to talk about a trend or opportunity. We're going to talk about the metaverse, and we're going to talk about AI. And I'll just kind of give you the prompt, and we'll get your thoughts. All right? Okay. So here we go. So 2023, January, beginning of the new year, there's a lot of trend talk out there. Specific to CES, some specific to our industry, some just general, hot topics that people are talking about. Are there any trends that are particular interest for you, maybe something that you're excited about, something that you think may have potential applications or use cases for you in the work that you're doing?
Yeah, I spend a ton of my time thinking about how do you future-proof modern marketing. I think we've had this great experience as marketing moved more digital over the last 15 years. Now, how do you bring that into a trust, privacy safe way? That's where I'm spending the majority of my time. That's the trend that I think we as marketers need to continue to obsess about and build our strategies, our communication, and our execution, our activation strategies with trust at the center. And so that means I'm touching a lot of different things, really on the activation side. How do I identify the individual? Is there consent against that? How do I then push that out to the publisher network? Do you do that through a clean room? How do you make sure that those touch points within the overall, daisy chain and ecosystem continue to provide a privacy safe and a trustworthy environment, and then put measurement against that? I need to know, did it work or did it not work? Am I okay if it's not deterministic and it's more probabilistic and cohort based? For sure. But building those strategies out and then building out experimentation to do that rapidly so that we can pressure test the coefficients that we're kicking out is where I spend the majority of my time.
All right. And then let's go to the flip side for a second. Challenges, right? And challenges can be opportunities as well. And you mentioned a couple, as that you're excited about tackling. But whether for you personally or for our industry as a whole, are there any challenges you feel like we should be tackling?
Look, I think the talent question is always top of mind for large-scale marketers like ourselves. We need to continue to cultivate and build that pipeline, provide experiences to younger talent that allows them to fail, grow, execute, make impact into the organization. So for me, it's figuring out, how do I attract, cultivate, and build, in essence, a startup-esque type of ecosystem within a large multinational like General Motors. Is, one of the challenges that we spend a lot of time thinking about, that, the industry as marketers, I think, as I talk to my peer set, are always challenged. How do we make sure we're building the right community, the next generation that's going to take marketing to the next level?
Absolutely. All right, we're going to get now to the two hottest buzzwords of the last few months, or even longer potentially. We'll start with the metaverse. We were just Brand Innovators. We were just at Art Basel in Miami Art Week, where it was very top of mind. We've seen some really fantastic and fascinating experimentation by different brands using Web3 technologies, NFTs, and the metaverse, in gaming and other elements of or offshoots of Web3. Some of it is certainly in its early stages and in that experimentation mode. But what do you see as, if any, as sort of the long-term potential for Web3 in the metaverse?
Yeah, huge, right? As we think about the overall opportunity of Web3, from blockchain, decentralized ledgers, thinking about insurance, there's all these applications. Myself as a marketer, as we think about some of this early nascent testing and learning, I love it. Like, it's driving marketing to be creative. Right now, it's a small portion of where we're putting our investments, but it's helping us figure out what's next within that ecosystem. How do we make sure we're connected, winning on experiences and winning where our customers are going to be? Metaverse, to me, is something that we as marketers need to continue to test and learn. My gut says the metaverse experience that we're seeing today isn't going to be the metaverse experience of 3 years from now, but we're going to go through that learning curve. And we need to make those investments to go through the learning curve to understand really what's this going to look like when it is more mass, when it is more accessible, when compute power costs are much lower than they are today. So we have a lot of challenges as we think about metaverse, Web3, and I'm really excited about the community that's focused on driving that, and we as marketers continue to engage in that. We have to keep a pulse.
AI, right? Again, one of these, it's not new as a topic of conversation, but certainly has hit new levels in the last few months with how this technology can be leveraged, the latest in machine learning and artificial intelligence. What do you see as the practical applications for our industry?
We're at CES. I'm candidly the most excited to see how AI is penetrating CES and all the exhibits and everything that we're going to see. What we've seen over the last 3-4 months with ChatGPT penetrating society, the average person realizing what AI and machines can do, just simply going to a web page and putting a prompt forward, is fascinating. And again, as a marketer, as we think about ad tech, as we think about finding the right individual, so we think about what we can use those machines to unleash in finding and targeting and putting the right creative and content in the right places. It's amazing. Again, we need to make sure that we have the sanctity, the safety, the controls in place to do that in a way that's going to be effective for society. So that, to me, there's a lot tied into the AI conversation. Excited, but also curious about how we as society get our arms around it.
I'm curious, one of the other, interviewees for these Backstage videos that we've been putting together kind of flipped it on its head, right? When it comes to ChatGPT and potentially as a tool, the same way that we use Google, right? And as a brand, obviously Google is a driver of it's an informer of search, and you have search intent. It takes people to your brand and to your content. If people start going to whether it's ChatGPT or similar types of products to get the information they're looking for, to find the destinations that they're searching, how does that impact your work?
We're going to have to build new mechanisms. We know the playbook for Google, right? You build search ads, you got your display ads, that ecosystem. Same thing we talked about with metaverse and Web3. We're going to have to go through a very quick learning curve to understand what is the role and how does a brand actually show up in an AI-driven search engine, whatever that may look like, that's ChatGPT or similar service. So look, I candidly don't have a good answer on that, but I'm curious. Team's working on that, and we're going to continue to, keep our finger to the pulse of what's happening on the AI side, not only on the activation, on the privacy side, but also, what new services and tools will we have to go play in? Again, we want to win where people are playing. We want to win in those environments. And so that's going to be the next thing that we're going to pay attention to as we do metaverse and Web3 and all these other innovation projects within our realm.
All right. Fantastic. Well, it certainly sounds like you've got your work cut out for you, but if you're passionate about this and you're hungry and you're curious, there's a lot of fun stuff to be excited about. Thank you so much for being here, Ajay.
Thank you. Hey, appreciate it.